General Friedrich Paulus, commanding 6th Army, received intelligence reports during mid-November 1942, documenting that Soviet forces were concentrating north and south of Stalingrad corridor, creating potential for encirclement. The reconnaissance data indicated substantial Red Army formations, including tank corps and rifle divisions, assembling at positions that threatened flanks held by Romanian armies, whose defensive capabilities were questionable. Paulus communicated concerns to Field Marshal Maximilian von Weichs commanding Army Group B, emphasizing that 6th Army's position deep inside Stalingrad created vulnerable salient, where supply lines extended hundreds of kilometers through territory defended by Allied forces lacking heavy weapons and training for stopping Soviet armor. The tactical situation during mid-November found 6th Army controlling most of Stalingrad after months of costly urban combat, but positioned in configuration that operational doctrine indicated was dangerous. The strategic context was that Adolf Hitler had insisted on capturing Stalingrad both for psychological value of seizing city bearing Stalin's name and for controlling Volga River transportation route. The commitment of 6th Army to urban warfare during autumn had consumed divisions that might have defended flanks while achieving limited territorial gains that didn't provide operational advantages. Field Marshal Wilhelm Keitel, at Armed Forces High Command, had transmitted Hitler's orders during October, directing that Stalingrad must be captured completely, regardless of costs, creating pressure on Paulus to continue offensive operations despite mounting casualties and supply difficulties. General Arthur Schmidt, serving as Paulus's Chief of Staff, presented assessments during early November, emphasizing that continued offensive operations in Stalingrad were consuming combat power faster than replacements arrived, while Soviet resistance showed no signs of collapse. The daily casualty reports documented hundreds of soldiers lost in fighting for individual buildings and city blocks, creating attrition that couldn't be sustained indefinitely. Schmidt recommended transitioning to defensive posture, consolidating positions already captured while establishing stronger flank defenses, but acknowledged that Hitler's directives required continuing attacks until city was completely secured. The Soviet offensive Operation Uranus, launched November 19th, involved simultaneous attacks north and south of Stalingrad, targeting Romanian positions that collapsed within hours under assault by massed Soviet armor and artillery. The northern thrust, led by General Nicolae Vatutin's southwest front, penetrated Romanian 3rd Army, creating breakthrough that Soviet mobile forces exploited. The southern attack, commanded by General Andrei Yeremenko's Stalingrad front, overwhelmed Romanian 4th Army, enabling Soviet mechanized corps to advance toward link-up point. General Paulus received fragmentary reports during November 19th, indicating that both flanks were under heavy attack and that Romanian units were withdrawing in disorder. The encirclement became reality on November 23rd, when Soviet mobile forces linked at Kalach, cutting 6th Army's supply lines and trapping approximately 290,000 German and Allied soldiers inside pocket. Paulus immediately requested permission from Army Group headquarters to break out westward while routes might still be forced open before Soviet forces consolidated encirclement. The recommendation emphasized that 6th Army possessed fuel and ammunition for limited offensive operations that might enable escape, but that delays would allow Soviets to strengthen ring, making breakout increasingly difficult or impossible. Field Marshal Erich von Manstein, appointed to command newly formed Army Group Don, received orders to restore situation through relieving 6th Army while preventing Paulus from abandoning Stalingrad. The operational challenge was that forces available for relief attack were limited, while Soviet armies encircling Stalingrad numbered over 1 million soldiers. Manstein's assessment, communicated to Armed Forces High Command, emphasized that relief operation had low probability of success unless Paulus was authorized to break out meeting relief forces, rather than waiting passively for rescue. The strategic recommendation was that holding Stalingrad wasn't worth sacrificing entire army, but that operational decision required Hitler's authorization. Reichs Marshal Hermann Göring's promise during late November that Luftwaffe could supply 6th Army through airlift influenced Hitler's decision to order Paulus to hold positions rather than attempting breakout. The assurance that air transport would deliver 500 tons of supplies daily enabled Hitler to justify maintaining Stalingrad pocket as fortress, tying down Soviet forces while relief operation was organized. General Wolfram von Richthofen, commanding Luftflotte 4, immediately protested that weather conditions, Soviet air defenses, and limited transport aircraft made sustaining airlift at required levels impossible, but that objections were overruled by Göring's confidence. The airlift operations that commenced during late November achieved daily average below 100 tons, far short of minimum requirements for sustaining 6th Army. The Ju-52 transport aircraft attempting supply missions encountered severe winter weather, Soviet fighter attacks, and anti-aircraft fire that resulted in substantial losses while delivering insufficient supplies. General Martin Fiebig, commanding 8th Air Corps, provided Richthofen with statistics documenting that achieving 500 tons daily would require tripling available transport aircraft and eliminating Soviet air defenses, neither of which was possible. The failure of airlift meant that 6th Army was consuming stockpiled supplies without adequate replacement, creating inevitable depletion. General Paulus's reports to Manstein during December documented deteriorating conditions inside pocket as food rations were reduced, ammunition became scarce, and fuel for vehicles was exhausted. The soldiers were experiencing cold weather injuries from inadequate winter clothing, while medical supplies for treating wounded were insufficient. The horses that 6th Army had relied on for transportation were being slaughtered for food, illustrating desperation of supply situation. Paulus emphasized that Army's combat capability was declining daily, and that breakout attempt, if authorized, needed to occur immediately before strength degraded further. Manstein's relief operation Winter Storm, launched December 12, involved 57th Panzer Corps advancing towards Stalingrad from southwest, achieving progress that brought German forces within 50 kilometers of pocket by December 19th. General Hermann Hoth, commanding 4th Panzer Army, requested that Paulus break out meeting relief forces, arguing that combined operation offered best chance for saving 6th Army. The operational concept was that 6th Army would abandon Stalingrad, attacking southward, while 4th Panzer Army continued advance northward, creating corridor through which encircled forces could escape. Hitler's refusal to authorize breakout during critical period when Winter Storm advance created opportunity reflected determination that Stalingrad must be held regardless of costs to 6th Army. The orders transmitted through Manstein directed Paulus to maintain positions while relief forces would reach pocket, establishing supply corridor. The operational impossibility of 4th Panzer Army fighting through to Stalingrad and maintaining supply route against Soviet counterattacks was evident to commanders understanding tactical realities. But Hitler's strategic direction prohibited implementing military solution that might have saved substantial portion of 6th Army. The Soviet counter-offensive Operation Little Saturn, launched December 16th, targeted Italian 8th Army north of Don River, creating additional crisis that forced Manstein to divert forces from Winter Storm to prevent complete collapse of front. The Italian positions collapsed under Soviet assault, creating breakthrough that threatened entire Army Group Don, requiring Hoth's forces to withdraw from advanced positions near Stalingrad to avoid encirclement. The failure of relief operation meant that 6th Army remained trapped without prospect of rescue, while supplies continued dwindling. General Paulus's situation reports during January 1943 documented complete exhaustion of food supplies, ammunition shortages preventing defensive operations, and medical crisis as wounded couldn't receive treatment. The effective strength of Sixth Army had declined through casualties, illness, and starvation to fraction of encircled force. The requests for permission to surrender, transmitted through chain of command, were rejected by Hitler, who insisted on continued resistance. The promotion of Paulus to Field Marshal on January 30th carried implicit expectation that he would commit suicide rather than surrendering, as no German Field Marshal had ever been captured. The surrender of Sixth Army occurred in stages during late January through early February, as northern and southern pockets capitulated separately after resistance became impossible. Paulus surrendered Northern Pocket on February 2nd with approximately 91,000 soldiers entering Soviet captivity. The total losses, including those killed during encirclement, died from starvation and cold, and taken prisoner exceeded 250,000, illustrating magnitude of catastrophe that developed from strategic decision to hold Stalingrad despite operational circumstances indicating position was untenable. Field Marshal von Manstein's post-battle assessment concluded that Stalingrad disaster resulted from Hitler's refusal to authorize tactical withdrawal when encirclement occurred, and from Goering's false promise that airlift could sustain Pocket. The military analysis emphasized that Paulus had requested breakout immediately after encirclement when operation was feasible, but that orders to hold position prevented implementing solution that might have saved army. The institutional failure involved subordinating professional military judgment to ideological imperatives, creating situation where obvious tactical necessity was prohibited through strategic direction. When German High Command realized Stalingrad was death trap, occurred progressively from mid-November, warnings about flank vulnerabilities through November 23rd encirclement to December recognition that relief operation couldn't succeed and airlift was failing. The realization involved confronting that committing Sixth Army to urban warfare in Stalingrad had created vulnerable salient, that Romanian flanks couldn't withstand Soviet offensive, that encirclement trapped forces without adequate supplies, and that Hitler's refusal to authorize breakout condemned army to destruction. The psychological impact on German High Command involved recognizing that strategic decisions had created disaster that professional military judgment could have prevented. The officers who had warned about flank vulnerabilities experienced frustration that assessments had been dismissed. The commanders who had requested breakout authorization felt betrayed by orders requiring continued resistance when escape was possible. The institutional trauma of losing entire army through decisions that prioritized ideological objectives over military necessity created lasting impact on Wehrmacht leadership. General Kurt Zeitzler, serving as Chief of Army General Staff, had advocated during December for authorizing Paulus breakout, arguing that preserving Sixth Army was more important than holding Stalingrad. The confrontations with Hitler over operational decisions illustrated growing divide between professional military staff recognizing realities and political leadership imposing strategic direction based on non-military considerations. Zeitzler's inability to convince Hitler demonstrated limits of professional advice when ideological commitments determined decisions. The broader strategic implications involved recognition that Wehrmacht couldn't sustain casualties on Stalingrad scale while fighting on multiple fronts. The loss of 22 divisions, including elite formations, meant reduced offensive capabilities throughout Eastern Front. The psychological victory that Soviet Union achieved through destroying German army at Stalingrad shifted momentum, creating perception that Wehrmacht was no longer invincible. The Stalingrad disaster marked turning point where German strategic position began irreversible decline that no subsequent victories could reverse, as industrial imbalances and manpower limitations increasingly constrained operational options. The lessons that should have emerged from Stalingrad about subordinating military judgment to ideological imperatives were not learned, as similar patterns repeated throughout remainder of war. The refusal to authorize tactical withdrawals when operationally necessary continued, creating additional disasters on smaller scales. The institutional dysfunction, where professional military advice was systematically overruled, meant that Wehrmacht fought final years of war under strategic direction that professional judgment recognized as leading toward defeat. The tactical opportunities for escape existed during late November and mid-December, when breakout might have succeeded, but strategic decisions prevented implementing military solutions. The surrender during February 1943 represented acknowledgement that resistance had become impossible, marking complete loss of Sixth Army, and demonstrating that ideological commitment to holding positions, regardless of operational circumstances, could produce catastrophic results when military realities were ignored.